All right, well, let's see if I can fit this in 8 to 10 minutes. I've already shot this once and I went way over time. So I haven't filmed or posted anything on YouTube in almost 2 years. I left off with the Haversack Essentials series back in, I think it was September 2024, and it's now July 2026. Um, I had a lot happen since then. I had a flood, winter, and getting back in the line of things. Had a really nasty spring, early and nasty spring last year. I got sick. I actually had bronchitis and really like acute bronchitis, uh, almost like on my way to pneumonia. It took me the rest of the summer to get over that. Had a big family friend camping trip, um, and in the fall, like the last part of summer, fall, we were actually had a drought. It was crispy dry. Guy, friend of mine, older gentleman, wanted to go find pawpaws, and we did not find a single one last September. It was just so dry they didn't make any fruit. So, anyways, I'd already emptied the bag, but I was just going to go ahead and try to um, pick up where I left off. So another thing I had happen was I shattered the camera setup on my phone, my old phone. So I got a new phone finally. So this is kind of me trying that out. I've got you setting on a white oak, probably 14-inch chunk of unsplit firewood and a rock behind it. So trying the selfie mode here. This is the first video I've shot like this. So anyways, I've got an empty bag. The same bison hide haversack, stuff clipped to the outside. This is one edition. It's just one of the cheap. We got like 6 of these. It's not super bright, but it is great for in a tent, or if you're just walking down a very established trail, like down to the bathrooms at a campground or something. These work really well. My leather work gloves, highly recommend those. And an antler whistle just kind of goes with the aesthetic of this. So I think what I'm going to do is just pack everything back in, show that the kit I'm still carrying, not much has changed. Some things have been just restocked. So I have this bandana, 100% cotton. I could cut this down, make char cloth, make band-aids, whatever. And I have a supply of fat wood and a pencil made it in there. So I usually start with this, roll that up in there, and I'll take 25-30 feet of paracord. I like paracord because of its strength, not for the ability to tear it down and do all this weird other stuff. This is for working with loads. Lashing up a tripod for a TP, ridgeline for a impromptu shelter, whatever. Even stringing up a hammock. It can hold 500 plus pounds. That's why I've got it. It's rope. It's not stuff I can dissect. It doesn't take fine knots. If you stay simple, you can put knots in it, but can't get too fancy with it. So it's simple, it's sturdy, it's available. That's why I use it. That goes in the bottom. I happen to also have some of these short, probably 10-foot lengths. I know they're in there now, so they're going in. Got some bank line. I like to do impromptu fishing with that sometimes. You can make the really thin, tiny bank line. Will still have like a 60 to 100 pound test, so you can use it for hard work, but you can also, it's just a nice, if you're going to do a hand line, it has a nice size. It's small enough to flip out, but it's big enough that you can still like reel it in on a hobo reel or something like that and feel it. It's not super fine, especially when you have sausage fingers like me. Leatherman. This is the kind with the saw, just another piece of fat wood. and I'll put these in like this. The Leatherman goes here, the short piece of fat wood goes here, the other stuff goes all the way across the bottom, and then like the Leatherman went over here, and I'll put my whetstone on this side. I have a mini mag flashlight just because I have a ton of them. So that went here. So this Cliff Bar will go there. I have I don't know that I had this pulled out last time, but this is a kind of a souvenir from the Lewis and Clark Visitor Center out in Oregon, Fort Clatsop. Used to visit there when I was a kid. I lived probably an hour and a half from it, so we'd go there when we go to the beach. And I just have it full of wax jute twine. I think they're called ugly sticks, but they're just jute twine dipped in melted wax, and it just soaks it up. They're like a match. You could light them off of a ferro rod or even just with a lighter, and this will burn. One of these will burn for a good 45 seconds, so it's just a good fire starter. I've also made fishing kits and packed them in here. And I have my huge ferro rod, 1/2-inch ferro rod, whistle, super big chunk of fat wood, striker, dedicated striker, and and some duct tape. That's what it is, duct tape. And then I just decorated with some beads, and that'll really throw sparks and burn you. So anyways, that pretty well goes across the bottom with that stuff. And then I have my poncho. This is what I want to make a shelter and camp out of. I have just a small titanium Tokes brand cup. I'm not really going to rant and rave about this. It's just a redundant container. I've collected crawdads in it. You could cook and boil a little bit of water in it. Not really enough to do anything with, but I just stick it on the bottom of my poncho to give it a little bit of rigidity. This is a Arcturus multifunction poncho tarp shelter. It is a full size. It only has 4 grommets. I thought it had the third one, so I thought it could be put into a Ranger roll configuration, which you could if you wanted to tweak it that way, but it is a good poncho. I have had to use it in a rainstorm. That goes here. My Stanley water bottle. I did finally make a little sleeve for it out of a remnant of a wool blanket to help with the if you put cold water in here, it's sweating. But I have also discovered, this is a huge one, but just these insulated water bottles. Go ahead and get one. I can carry this. When I went hunting for pawpaws, I carried this guy full of ice and water. It still had ice in it when I left or when I got back to the car. And I filled this with water, and I wasn't worried about it being cold. I just topped it back off into here, but I still have my water bottle in case I got separated from this. It wasn't too big of a pain to just carry this along. It'd just be about like carrying a sleeping bag and a mat with you. Anyway, so that goes on that side, and then in between them is my leather tinder pouch. I have my flint and steel sage broom, which is just a type of grass, but it's kind of cool is it actually has seeds more like dandelion puffs. It's a very fine, or cattail down. It's a very fine deal. It'll take a spark and burn just great. I like it second to cedar bark. And then I have a Bic lighter that I have had since before I moved to Missouri, and I'm going on 15 years. Bic lighters, they last a long time if you take care of them. That goes in there. And then my Mora number 2, great knife, one of my favorite knives. Made the sheath myself, and it has a ferro rod on it, and this has been ground to a 90-degree spine on the back, so I can scrape say one of those fat wood sticks and then hit any of the ferro rods I have, and I have almost guaranteed flame. That goes I'll just tuck it behind the water bottle. Now I happen to have an extra Molly magazine holder and a magazine for my 22 long rifle pistol, because I discovered I don't always carry it, and I don't advocate guns. I don't consider myself a gun guy, but I did find out, because I found last year somewhere I found a military surplus holster that had the Molly webbing on it, and I can mount that right, if I can get, I might have to pull that out, but there's if you can see that right in the mouth of this, there's a piece of reinforced material across here. That's just another strip of buffalo hide that I sewed all of this stuff to, because my tomahawk slides right into here like that, and the gap I have right there between the poncho and the water bottle actually let me put that pistol right there. So do with that information what you will. Like I said, I'm not for or against guns. They have their place in things, they're handy tools, whatever. But for how dry it was, I was really worried more about snakes and whatever else we might find when we got down by the creek. And I had an elderly friend with me, so I wanted to be prepared just in case. I hadn't been back to that area in years. I'm not too worried about it now, but I also just wanted to see if I could do it. And I didn't have to carry it on my hip. I could just stick it in my bag. You can't do that everywhere. Missouri is a different place. I'm a Missouri resident, so I can do that. I can basically conceal carry, and no one's going to say anything. But that's just here. So that's why I don't have it here and say, hey, look what I can do. I may never do it again. I don't know. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm hitting 12 minutes, and hopefully I'll see you guys again. I'm still alive. I've just, life and stuff, same with any other gap that has come along. So anyways, see if this turned out, and I'll hopefully see you in a couple of weeks.